Hi guys, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to my channel. So my guides have given me another message for all of you, and this was on the 28th of the 8th, that I think was Friday night. So let's see what they say. Oh, they said this is called transition. So what is it to be in transition? You're not there, and you're not at the beginning, and you're not at the end. You're somewhere in the middle. So you are in transit. So you are going through something. Here goes. I said, hi team. What is it that you wish to share with us tonight? They said time and precise are the words I hear. Neither can any of you be sure of those two words, as you humans have a vague idea of what time is, and no one is ever truly precise, as it is always dependent on something else or someone else. So we would like to talk about eventualities. And what is an eventuality, other than knowing that if you continue in a certain way or a certain pattern, that the outcome is more than likely predictable, that the eventuality of the situation is almost predetermined. So they said, look up the word predetermined and then break the word into two. It is determined and it has been prior determined, like eventuality. Predetermined is knowing that you will more than likely have a certain outcome because of the way you're doing something or not doing something. Certain results can be experienced. So you want to lose weight, but you keep on eating all the wrong food. So you know what's going to happen. You want to lose weight, so you stop eating certain foods, and you know what's going to happen. That's what is predetermined, or the eventuality. So that is where predetermined comes in. So they said, so how determined is one to have a certain outcome that has been set by certain behaviors or set structures? Now, one would like a different outcome, but in order to have a different outcome, circumstances that would normally predetermine the eventuality of the outcome needs to change. We say a curveball of note needs to happen. And now they are using this as an example of what usually happens and why it usually happens. They said, look at the given situation of electing somebody into an office, be it a council or political. There is an eventual outcome that one expects from those that represent or govern you. So prime ministers, presidents, senators, members of parliament, we elect them because we think that something is going to happen, something good is going to happen. They said, but how often are you disappointed with the outcome, with the non-delivery from the elected official? Has it ever happened? Oh dear. But they said, had you actually delved into the history of the situation of the political system, then you would see that the outcome would be inevitably the same as all the prior situations, as none of the terms or rules of engagement had changed. So if you always play football a certain way, if you always play soccer or tennis a certain way, and the rules of engagement are never changed, then the game never changes. You can't expect the game to change unless you change the terms of engagement. So they said, so is it not time to put in a curveball to hold these officials, these elected representatives, to account? So what would one need to implement in order for a change to occur? What do you have to do to make that happen, to change the way we govern, we elect our governance in all areas? What do we need to change? Well, they said this is something for humanity to think on. When anyone enters a negotiation or a contract of work, an employment contract is usually negotiated. Not so. Perhaps it's time to put what the people of the world expect on these contracts and the consequences of failing to adhere to the points on the contract. So what happens to all these officials, these presidents, these prime ministers, these senators, these members of parliament, these council members? What happens to them when they don't deliver? They said, for unless things change in officialdom, in areas of office or servitude or leadership, call it whatever, any given name, nothing will change. You will all continue to have a system that depletes humanity at its core. And now they said, here's the solution. It is time for a people's charter to be written. We, the people of the earth, require clean air, clean food, clean water, watertight homes, open education, natural medicine to be integrated and aligned with the current health systems, true equality and justice for all, no matter the citizen of the planet's economic standing. It is time for corruption of people's minds and essence to stop. It's time for non-interference of your airwaves. It is a time for disclosure, for there is much that needs to be disclosed that is currently waiting in a holding pattern in the shadows. Governance by elected officials needs to be transparent. There should be what is termed a kitty for the advertising of the said candidates, so that those who are pure of heart, without big deep pockets with money, those who are pure of heart can apply to be in governance. It should not be the size of somebody's bank account that determines the job. It should not be the old boys or the old girls network that determines the job. These networks are becoming very tangled. The lines are becoming blurred. It is time for cutting the lines and installing new threads, fresh threads, strong threads. This is a time for resilience building. It is a time for the inner for the essence and the heart to be shown on the outer. It is a time for men and women around your globe to take a stand and be counted. For these are the times for change. The light, as it grows closer, will illuminate the dark. And the dark will now begin to be seen. The dark cannot hide in the light. So let the light show begin. Guys, let the light show begin. How does the light show begin? Unless you, being the being of light, show your light. So there we are in a transitional period. We want different governance. We want clean air, food, water, equality and justice for all. But how do we get this unless we demand it? How do we get this unless we change the system? So if you just wanted to carry on and just complain, nothing's going to change. And that's why they say you've got to stand for something. What is it that you stand for? You know, you think you might be one little person, but if you've got 10 million, 1 billion little people all standing together and saying, no more, we want a different way, then there will be a different way. But unless you speak up and speak out, then there won't be a different way. And so they said, this is the time for change. This is the transition period. This is the time where you're traveling through change. And what is that change going to be? It's up to you. It's up to me. So I'm doing my bit, trying to give you the messages that I get. And you know what? Are they going to be nothing? Are they going to mean nothing, these words? Or are they going to mean something? Yesterday, I read a piece. A friend of mine, Martine, posted about this man that does beautiful poetry. And there were a whole lot of verses, but the one that I remembered was, why would you kiss somebody unless it's a real kiss and you feel it? Otherwise, it is just a chore for the lips. So my guide's words that come through me, are you actually hearing them? Is this just a chore for my lips? So great kissing, guys, and have a great new week. Lots and lots of love. Cheers.